In the depths of rural Maine, nestled within the gnarled woods, there stood an old hunting lodge. Its time-worn facade exuded an eerie charm that had beckoned hunters and thrill-seekers for generations. But beneath the veneer of rustic allure lurked a sinister tale, a tale of a hunting horror that had haunted the lodge for centuries. The lodge was known by locals as the Hunter's Haven, a place where avid hunters gathered to share their tales of triumph and defeat. Stories of elusive prey and eerie encounters were as common as the scent of pine in the air. Among those tales, one legend cast a shadow darker and more ominous than the others, a legend that told of the cursed beast, a creature born from the unholy desires of a vengeful hunter long past. As the story goes, in the late 1800s, a notorious trophy hunter named Elijah Blackwood roamed these woods. His obsession with capturing the ultimate prize led him to make a deal with an ancient and malevolent entity said to reside in the heart of the forest. In exchange for power and prowess beyond imagination, Blackwood offered the entity his very soul. For years, Blackwood's hunts were the stuff of legend. He claimed the most elusive creatures as his trophies: wolves with silver fur, bears with fur as dark as night, and even an albino moose. But as his collection grew, so did his insatiable greed. He began to seek more sinister prey, creatures that no other hunter dared pursue. One fateful night, Blackwood set out on a hunt that would forever seal his fate. He spoke of a creature, half man and half beast, that roamed the woods, preying on those who dared enter its domain. He referred to it simply as the Hunter's Nightmare. Armed with enchanted weapons bestowed upon him by the entity, Blackwood embarked on his ill-fated quest. The night was cold, and the moon shone like a sickly grin. He ventured deeper into the forest, his breath visible in the frigid air. Every step felt like a descent into madness. The minutes stretched into hours as Blackwood stalked his elusive prey. Branches cracked and leaves rustled in the darkness, but the creature remained hidden, a shadow in the night. With each passing moment, Blackwood's resolve waned, and the weight of his unholy pact pressed upon him like a vice. Finally, as the first light of dawn began to break, Blackwood caught sight of the Hunter's Nightmare. It stood tall and twisted, a grotesque amalgamation of man and beast. Its eyes glowed with a malevolent intelligence, and its breath came out in a chilling mist. In that moment, Blackwood realized the true nature of his quarry. The creature was the embodiment of his own darkest desires. A battle ensued between man and monster, a battle that tore through the forest with a ferocity that shook the very earth. Blackwood's enchanted weapon struck true, but the creature's resilience was uncanny. It seemed to draw strength from the fear and darkness in Blackwood's heart. As dawn broke, the final blow was struck. Blackwood's blade pierced the creature's heart, but in doing so, he sealed his own fate. The creature let out a deafening scream, and its form began to wither and warp until it was no more than a spectral wisp of malevolence. In its dying breath, the Hunter's Nightmare cursed Blackwood, binding his soul to the very forest he had once sought to conquer. From that day forward, he would be forever tormented by the creatures he had hunted, forced to relive their terror and pain for all eternity. The Hunter's Haven, once a place of revelry and camaraderie, became a place of dread and despair. The lodge's walls seemed to whisper with the anguished cries of the creatures that had fallen to Blackwood's blade. Hunters who dared stay there reported strange visions and unsettling encounters with the vengeful spirits of the forest. Over the years, the lodge fell into disrepair, and its legend faded into obscurity. But the curse endured, passed down through the generations like a dark family secret. The forest itself seemed to come alive, twisting and shifting to ensnare those who entered its domain, just as it had ensnared Elijah Blackwood. And so, the Hunter's Haven remained a place of grim fascination, a chilling reminder of the consequences of unchecked greed and the darkness that lurked in the hearts of men. To this day, those who venture into the haunted woods of rural Maine are warned to tread lightly and remember the legend of the Hunter's Nightmare, a legend that serves as a grim testament to the horrors that await those who seek to conquer the untamed wilds.